Welcome to another week and another episode and another edition of 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast with me, your host, Tanya Candler, and my co-host and guest this evening, returning to the upside down yet again, Rob McCallum.
What's the difference between a co-host and a guest?
I don't know what the difference between a co-host
I feel
and a
like
guest is.
in the upside down, I might be a co-host, but in the real world, I'm just the worst guest ever.
This is true. I guess you're still recovering from last episode.
Don't want to talk about it.
It's been a week. It's been a week. It's because it's kind of turned into summer here, and we look very summery.
Yeah, man.
My dude, you look summery.
My dude, your shirt is bodacious, my dude.
My dude, your shirt is tubular, my dude.
It's like a good shirt that reminds my brain of summertime.
Totally. And so there's like a lot of things that I was thinking about summertime and lots of things that happened. We just had like July 1st and that went because we heard fireworks for like 2 fucking days.
Fireworks in your Jelina.
Like, oh my God, terrible. Like, couldn't the city have allocated its funds somewhere better? Unless all those fireworks were orange, I don't want to see them. Anyway, so July 1st happened and just kept happening. And now July 4th is happening in the States. So there's fireworks there and, you know, more noise and PTSD for people and dogs. So, I mean, that's something that happens in the summertime. But it got me thinking of all the crazy things that happen in the summer. And you know what happens in the summer?
Hot sauce?
Well, yeah, but I was thinking about hot things and sweating. And like, I'm a sweaty kid. And I sweat like crazy.
I see you're rocking the sweatband. Is that to soap up the gallons of perspiration?
That I'm gonna get from all this. Yeah, it is.
Perspiration.
Perspiration.
Can you tell it's late at night, folks?
No, it's to sop up all the heat. It's to sop up all the beats there.
The kids are asleep. The dog is asleep.
We're gonna do a mukbang video.
It's gonna be the mukbang video. And in a mukbang video, all you do is whisper to accentuate the crunching and the saliva and the mucking around of the food in your mouth.
No. We're not going to make you sweat that hard. But, we are going to sweat with these hot sauces. And yeah, in the summertime, you sweat. And I'm a sweaty kid. I sweat a lot more in the summertime. It's terrible. I've been like this since I was young. And I was talking to Rob the other day about sweat. And I was talking about how sex sweat, the sweat that comes off of your body when you have the sex, smells differently than regular sweat. What do you think?
Well, far be it for me to disagree with you in your show. That would be a bad guess thing to do.
But sex sweat's different.
I love your childhood stories about your mom walking into your room and saying, Tanya, this place smells like sex.
And I'd be like, how do you know? You haven't had it in like 100 years. Like, why are you talking to me about my room smelling like sex? This reminds me, so sweating reminds me of summer, a hot summer, hot sauces, and why we love them.
He-Man and hot sauces.
Yeah, totally. They had to throw an H in there for He-Man and hot sauces. It was things that remind me of summer. I mean, obviously Saturday morning cartoons, but hot sauces, why we love them so much. The Scoville City honey.
Because we say not even just hot sauce and He-Man, but honey.
Hot honey. The Scoville City cap just fell off my Scoville City honey.
What's Scoville City?
What's Scoville City? Scoville City is our wonderful sponsor that brings to you 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast. And they're a fantastic hot sauce company out of the good old S of A. And they have every hot sauce you can think of.
You know what I was thinking? Most people will look at this display and say, oh, these are just colorful hot sauces. To me, they're the skyscrapers of Scoville City.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think about that?
They're absolutely the skyscrapers of Scoville City. Just building it one taste bud at a time. Oh my God, or like 1 million. You're going to find out tonight.
So we tried these 4 already.
Well, here's the thing. I've tried them all.
Okay, I have not. I haven't tried these 3.
And you also haven't tried the rosé and stuff because I basically drank that bottle while you were gone. But I mean, you haven't tried the Ghost Busted yet. I could drink that stuff. It's very hot, but the berryness in it is amazing. So you're going to get Ghost Busted tonight for the first time. And
for all you sick people out there that tuned in last week to see one of us get upset and burned and hurt by these hot sauces.
We're pepperheads.
All you sick people that tune into those hot sauce videos. I may or may not be one of them as well. To see people have a hot sauce taste and go, oh, it's hot, I can't do it. This is probably the video that you're gonna enjoy.
He might have that one.
The video that you enjoy.
But the other thing that I remember about summer is like festivals and going to concerts. Like I remember Edge Fest and Vans Warped Tour and going to Somersault and things like that. Exactly, like fun summer shows and Rock the Park. Even I used to go to Rock the Park here in town a lot.
Grandstand.
Grandstand at the Western Fair was amazing.
Great Canadian grandstand.
And we had a lot of fun bands. So those were like good things that we could reflect on Canada for Canada Day. I don't want to set off a bunch of fireworks. Look at this. Zevia.
Unofficial.
Send the fucking check, Zevia. Send it down the pipe. I'm going to need it tonight to wash down some of these hot sauces. I mean, there was, like in the summer, there was that SARS concert in Toronto. You remember they had the Rolling Stones?
Starstock.
Yeah, it was like the Rolling Stones, AC/DC. I went. It was terrible. It was packed.
Justin Timberlake?
It was, oh God. It was packed.
JT.
It was overfilled. He was not bringing all the sexy back. It was not that great.
He didn't get the love.
Summer is a time for summer superstitions, like peeing in the pool, for instance. Like it always reminds me of the thing.
What's the superstition about peeing in the pool?
Well, it just reminds me of like the kids on Stranger Things, like going to the pool and stuff like that, and somebody peeing in the pool and like a cloud of purple being around them. Because I was always told as a kid, if you peed in the pool, like there'd be a cloud of purple or blue around you. There was a chemical in the water that would detect your pee.
That's true. That you can put chemicals in that will detect the urine.
But most companies and most pools don't invest in it. They just scare the shit out of little kids and put the fear of fuck in them that they're gonna like piss fucking rainbows in the pool, and they don't want to.
I heard, on a similar note, that there was a chemical that when you pee in the pool, it doesn't just turn like purple cloud around you and you're the pee kid. It actually turns into a foam that will go inside your winkle member. So it bubbles up all around and then like solidifies into like, you know, like that foam fill stuff.
You get a pool noodle just for showing up?
Yeah, that's free of charge. It's free of charge.
Oh my God, what about swimming? Like how long did you have to wait before you went swimming? Like after eating? Like if you had
how long did
lunch,
I have to, or how long were we supposed to?
How long were you like, was the rules?
And what's the superstition?
Okay, the superstition is like 2 hours. I'm like, what kid
I've never waited 2 hours.
Eat lunch and wait? I'm saying this is a superstition. What kid, or anyone frankly for that matter, can eat lunch and 2 hours later, like, let's go for a swim?
I think the longest I waited was 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. For me, it was like maybe half an hour tops if I was forced.
And I still remember like in midair jumping into the pool thinking, did I wait long enough?
Cramp! No,
you're
late. Fine.
I never had a cramp from eating and then swimming. I had cramps from swimming all day long and not eating.
Yeah, same, like hunger pangs. You know what one we had as a kid? And I don't know if you had this one because I feel like this is totally like an Eastern European thing. But we had like, don't go outside when it's raining because of the acid rain. And I was literally talking to my sister about this the other day. And my mom would freak out and she'd be like, oh my God, don't go outside. It's the acid rain. It's the acid rain. It's going to kill you. Like,
the closest I got to that was seeing a can of hairspray and seeing the term CFC on it, chlorofluorocarbons, and spraying it and trying to find them because I knew that they were evil and like they could put a hole in the ozone layer. I'm like, I'll make it a hole.
I'm so badass. So you made a hole.
What did I know as a 6 or 7 year old?
You probably invented acid rain, you asshole.
It's just a new kind of rock.
It's fucked up. Acid rock, acid rain, it happens.
Acid jeans.
And I'll tell you, so obviously we're going back into the Upside Down this week as we wrap up.
My dude, where else would we go?
Well, obviously, because as we're going to wrap up the season finale and the last 4.5 or so epic hours of chapter 8 and chapter 9, volume 2 of Season Things by those fantastic Duffer Brothers. They've done it again, music-wise. I mean, montage-wise. We'll get back to season 4 very soon. But we have to wrap that up this week because we finished it.
Season 4, part 2.
I had to like get myself together before we actually film this because I like ugly cried for a long time because of it. So spoiler alert, if you have not finished season 4 of Stranger Things, please do, or please don't watch this right now unless you want to spoil the shit out of it for yourself because you
know what? Watch this, then go back.
Oh, totally.
It's not.
It's whatever you want to do.
We're going to talk everything.
But you know what?
Is it going to be a spoiler?
Speaking, really? I will tell you, of the Upside Down, because we got to go back to the Upside Down. I feel like in the last week or so, since about June 24th, America's uterus has gotten turned upside down, like completely gone into the fucking upside down. I feel like the Supreme Court's gone into the upside down. Everybody's gone fucking crazy. People have lost their rights to have abortions in the States. I think it's fucking crazy. I think we are going way, way back further than we need to go. People don't know what Roe v. Wade is. You see the term Roe v. Wade, and you see the hashtag Roe v. Wade thrown around a lot on the internet. And I don't think people have taken the time to really educate themselves about it. Like, what's Roe v. Wade, or who's Roe v. Wade, or what's Roe versus Wade? I think they think Roe v. Wade's a person. And it's not. If you need to know and you want to get educated.
Roe v. Wade's a person. Hey, Roe v., get over here. I'm going to call Mrs. Wade on you.
I know. It's like Roe v. Wade. Like, what? Like...
God dang, Roe v's up to it again. Somebody's got to stop them.
Tough break on the name. But I mean, I knew what it was about. But for those who don't, really, Roe versus Wade was a case that happened it ended in 1973. It is about the Roe in Roe versus Wade is Jane Roe, sounds a lot like Jane Doe. In 1969, she was a pregnant 22-year-old girl from Texas who had kind of not a lot of jobs, not a lot of prospects. You know, before her, she'd already had 2 kind of unsuccessful abortions. She wanted to have another one. She wasn't married. And the Texas lawmaker, who was a DA, who was handing this law down, his name was Henry Wade. And, you know, no abortions in Texas, unless it's for life-saving measures, as they call them. And so she got an attorney who kind of hooked up with her case and fought this law and said it was kind of a basic... like a violation against a woman's right to privacy, really. Like privacy, not so much body autonomy, because we didn't talk about it as much then, but privacy as far as your body went. And in a surprising turn of events, especially for the 70s, there was a 7-2 decision, and with Roe versus Wade, Jane Roe won, and that became the Roe versus Wade sort of law and the right in America. And it was protected until about 1992 when it was challenged again in the Planned Parenthood versus Casey. It was like a case, and it was a lawsuit brought against each other again. And this was more not to do about rights; it was more to do about access. It was a time in the 90s when people were like bombing abortion clinics. They were shooting abortion doctors. I will tell you, the day that Roe versus Wade got overturned, and especially seeing a female in the Supreme Court, it broke my heart. I don't know how you weep for an entire nation. Yeah,
I mean, it's about abortion, but it's about so much more than abortion.
Exactly.
And the fact that people want to distill it down to some sort of religious belief is the most sickening thing of all.
Exactly, saying it's God's will. It's God's will that this happens. It's God's will that that happens. I don't want to get into all the God stuff because honestly, that shit can literally all go to hell in my fucking opinion. I called my mom and asked her, Mom, should I burn a Bible on my podcast? And she was just like, no.
What is that going to do? I mean, burning a book doesn't mean anything.
No.
Unless you prescribe meaning to that book, it doesn't matter.
And you got a couple of people that are saying, this is just like, all these people who were crying, they wanted everyone to have the vaccine pass with the COVID shot. Now they're saying, I need my body, my choice. This is apples to oranges, people. We're talking about a COVID shot over a baby that you have to raise your whole life. And if you don't have the money to raise it, who's going to raise it? The state? The father who was the one-night stand? The person that sexually assaulted you?
The reality is the scenarios are infinite.
They are. You can go on and on forever.
Infinite number of scenarios to justify why a woman should have a choice, beginning with the scenario where a woman should have a choice.
Exactly. Like anyone with a uterus. It's not even a woman at this point. Now,
Traditionally speaking, Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade.
A woman should have a choice of what happens with her body.
Now it's a person who needs that sovereignty over their own body. Anyone with a uterus that should have a fucking decision. Anyone without a uterus should have a decision. I think men should have a decision with it too. But get on board with women's rights and human rights. That's just draconian to go back that many years and be sitting on this law, have it passed, and have people that are already discriminated against and these sort of marginalized communities that always seem to have trouble accessing these things and having fair access to good birthing practices and good health care. And abortion, let's face it, is essential health care. I will tell you this myself, I will tell you, the system, the healthcare system as it is will collapse. It may not collapse for Karen, Congressman so-and-so's mistress. Because Supreme Justice Karen is getting safe and legal action to abortions. You know why?
Or she'll at least get a paid flight to California.
Exactly, because she is white, she is rich, and, you know, she's somebody's fucking mistress. Let me tell you, abortions are something that I get fired up about because I have driven friends to, I don't know, countless abortions. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 abortions. I had a friend once who was pregnant in high school, late in high school, and she will remain nameless, obviously. She was pregnant. Her parents didn't know. She just wore baggy clothes all the time. She was 5, 6 months along when she hemorrhaged. She hemorrhaged big time, and she was having a miscarriage. And the only way, I didn't even drive at the time legally. I took her parents' car and I took her to the hospital, and she was hemorrhaging. And the only way they could get her to stop bleeding and basically not bleed to death was to give her an abortion, a late stage abortion. And that was a medically used procedure to save her life. And there was a medical
Well, she would have been okay in Texas then.
No, in Texas, she would have bled down the street. Now I have a good friend, which is amazing. And, you know, I sat in the ER that night waiting to see if she was going to live or die after like 2 blood transfusions. No baby, but I got my friend back. And that's why abortion and things like that and choice.
That's what it's about right there.
Is essential.
Choice.
Whether you want to get one or not.
Whether it's gay marriage, interracial marriage, voting rights.
Oh, because you know they're going to go back on all that stuff.
It's all about personal choice.
Yeah, they're going back on all. Apparently, America is not as free as I thought it was anymore, and they're going back on a lot of personal choices.
Oh, nothing has changed. Each state governs its own abortion rules.
And now
this is just a big to-do about nothing.
And now they're looking at a big to-do about gay marriage. And if that goes tits up, fuck, I don't even know what to say. This is a human right for every human. You have the right to choose what you do with and to your body. You have the right
Land
to choose
of the free, indeed.
who you love. Lee Greenwood would not be proud to be an American, or at least I thought I was free. And I won't forget the man who died. Forget about them. Because
who voted against me 6-3?
Oh my God.
6-2? 6-2.
6-2. Yeah. Oh my God. 6-2. Fuck you. So, I mean, now school's out forever. School's out for summer. I couldn't be happier that school is out. It's actually kind of nice. Alice Cooper. So, I mean, the summer reminds me of Stranger Things, obviously, because, you know, all the bike riding and all the things you do in the summer, and the episodes usually come out in the summer. Also, our son's grade 2 teacher looked like Nancy. I'm just putting it out there.
It's true.
She fucking looked like Nancy so bad. It was crazy. So before, you know, Vecna, acid rain was the only thing that was a detriment to your life.
To your summer as a child.
And when we were kids, it was the acid rain.
Before Vecna. BV.
Exactly.
In the year
BV.
2022 will forever be known as 0 BV.
The year before Vecna.
And then AV.
The days before the fucking burning rain of death that was acid rain. You think my mom was on Hocus Pocus or something? It's the burning rain of death. It's the burning rain of death.
Vecna is essentially just one of your neighbors growing up that spent too much time in the rain.
This Scoville City hot sauce, this Ghost Busted, it fucking looks...
Just careful how you're shaking. I feel like you're going to get this in my T-zone.
I'm not going to get in your T-zone. I'm going to get in your zone.
You're going to have some first.
I love it. I love this hot sauce.
I can't wait to see you.
It's hot as fuck.
You should just drink it right on your tongue.
I want to drink it right on my tongue.
I can't wait to see this.
The berry balance is good, but I'll tell you, it kind of looks like Vecna. It looks like Vecna for me.
This is a little bit more Vecna to me.
The Diablo?
Yeah.
Diavolo. But it reminds me of Diablo because
100 Diavolo Drive.
It looks hot.
Where? Scoville City, USA.
We have got the Scoville City honey, which we're going to be putting on some
pizza.
Yeah. So we got some pizza. We got some Surfer Boy pizza. My dudes.
My dude, have you ever tried honey on your za?
Yeah, dude.
Are you like allergic to like anything that's like a killer ingredient?
I want to show you this. Like this. Here comes the killer ingredient right here. A full pepper. Woo! Look at that. A full pepper. It's dried out and it's got the ribs. It's got the seeds in there. Look at the honey, how it's coming down.
Proud to be a pizza muncher, cause I like to eat my zaw.
It's going to be awesome. So this Scoville City honey, it's like some of the best honey I've ever had. I like putting it in my tea. I like having a little bit on top of my mud water.
I brush my teeth with that stuff.
I brush my teeth with that shit. It's amazing. I feel like the one rosé sauce that we had with Scoville City, I felt like Joey with the jam on that episode of Friends where he couldn't stop eating it. I wanted to drink it. That stuff, it wasn't as hot. I would fucking drink it. Yeah. The rosé was amazing. It was fantastic. Okay. It was really, really good. But, you know, I got to be careful because, you know, strawberry fever. You don't want to get strawberry fever for having too many strawberries.
Are we going to start with a wing or are we going to start with a thing? A Stranger Thing, part 2.
I think we should start with a wing. I'm going to start with the gator sauce.
I'm going to have some of this homemade dill pickle bread and some Hawkins hummus.
That's to cool you off.
Some homemade... Oh, so what you're saying is I'm doing everything backwards already. Sorry, folks. I've been a bad guest already. I've started backwards.
No. And these sauces are straight out the chiller. Straight out the freezer. No, straight out
I got to start with the Hawkins hummus to just neutralize the palate.
I took all these hot sauces right out of the fridge because I will tell you.
Cold sauce is the way to go.
And Scoville City, sponsor of this show, will agree.
You know what?
Cold hot sauce, something about cold hot sauce on warm food, it cannot be beaten.
This is what I do.
Also,
I put hot sauce on my bread. Some people put butter, put hot sauce.
On my bread.
Truffle, what's it called? White truffle, hot sauce, Scoville City. Dill pickle bread.
Amazing.
Doesn't get better than that.
Also, the habanero pineapple jelly was amazing. This is something you do not see pictured here. You'll see it on their site if you go and visit Scoville City.
One day you may see it pictured here. Hint.
If I don't eat the entire thing. I ate an entire...
Yeah, well.
I ate an entire thing of jelly because it was so good. I wanted to eat it on everything, but I just ate it with a spoon. And it was hot and it was delicious and it was sweet and it was like, it just reminded me of fire in the tropics. Just like that Scoville honey. It feels like a bee and a cinnamon heart had sex. It's so good. I'm not gonna...
Was it sweaty sex?
It might have been sweaty sex. It was that sweaty sex.
How insectuous of you.
Did you see that finale? Did you see that finale of Stranger Things?
Yeah, I watched it.
Papa and then the piggyback.
I don't even know how to talk about these 2 episodes because we watched them back to back. So like, I don't know when one begins and when the other ends really. So I only think more storylines. I do. I kind of subdivided it down. I mean, that was something else to be doing on July 1st while we were listening to fireworks outside and everything was like blasting and scaring the shit out of our dog. Not cool. Certainly it wasn't celebrating Canada Day, but I'll fly many flags and one flag is for the flag of the Hellfire Club. Won't be a Canada flag. The Hellfire Club had a meeting that night. I'll tell you, I was excited to go to it. I was excited to go and get back to like our roots with Stranger Things. I heard that there was a Netflix crash. Oh yeah, it crashed.
Like the whole system went down. You couldn't log into
Netflix when these episodes dropped. Or there was difficulty for the first 4 to 6 hours accessing the content because there's so many people just...
It's like, I wonder who...
It happened with The Mandalorian too, so...
I wonder who got to watch it and I wonder who didn't.
I don't know. We stayed off social until we had the time.
Yeah, we stay off social.
You gotta stay off social media. Heaven forbid you find out what happens in your favorite TV show.
Yeah, I've seen reels. It's like, friends don't let friends ruin the end of fucking Stranger Things 4. It's like hilarious. I've seen the best reels today. I was just like, so I was trying to stay off.
I can't stay off social media. I need it. I want.
Me. No, but seriously, let's talk Stranger Things in the finale. And the final showdown, I am ready with my bandana on, my dude. Are you ready, my dude?
I am.
Episode 8, we started with Papa. Obviously, Matthew Modine as Dr. Brenner, Papa, this crazy scientist who clearly values, you know, his projects and his experiments more than life. And it opens kind of back at the secret lab, and Eleven's still going through this gamut of tests that he's really not he's not convinced that she's ready to be like unleashed yet. Her powers aren't quite there yet.
Yeah. She's just going through a gauntlet of experimentation to try to trigger her powers that he believed lay dormant inside because they had done it once before.
And that's how it kind of opened. I mean, last we left Nancy, her ass was stuck in the upside down, and she's getting served. And at this point, Nancy's in the upside down, and all of a sudden, Vecna decides to, I don't know, scare the shit out of her / spare her, and show her everything that is coming to Hawkins. Show her what's going to happen with her friends. Tell her that all her friends are going to die. Scare the shit out of her. Tell her that, Hawkins is going down. It's going to burn. He gives her this vision of Hawkins and all these horrible things, befalling her friends that they're going to lose and inevitably.
I don't understand the motivation for Vecna to do that. For a viewer, it's good from a writing point of view because we know what's on the line, like what's at stake, and it helps us root for people. Mm. But why show Nancy that? Why not just kill her? If you the whole thing is he needs a fourth victim to trigger this. So why wouldn't he just kill her?
It was crazy when he walked her through like the lab to see what he did, and then walked her through a younger Matthew Modine kind of tattooing one on him. Yeah. And maybe seeing a little bit of the whole... he's trying to get sympathy points or something. Yeah, the whole Creel point thing. He's trying to pull the Creel card. I'm she's oh, whole family murdered. I don't feel bad for you. Can't do it. It's
almost when a villain kind of overdoes a monologue to explain their world domination plan.
Oh yeah, but then he wants to make sure that 11 knows everything. Henry, Vecna, 1.
Yeah, is it Henry? Is it Peter? I got confused there for a minute.
The orderly, they always called him Peter because I don't think they actually wanted to use Henry Creel's name. So Henry, Vecna, 1, whatever you want to call this monster from the beyond. It's whatever you want to, it's whatever. And then they try to pull her out of the upside down. They need music. Eddie Munson comes up with Iron Maiden. This is music, They try to pull her out. She gets out with the help of bad boy chest hair Steve and his vesticle with his chesticles.
Steve Chestington.
Oh my God, Steve Chestington.
Steve Hairy Chest.
After they kind of hear this news from Nancy, they kind of deduct that there have been 3 deaths, but there have also been 4 chimes on a clock every time someone dies. So they're thinking 4 chimes, they need 4 deaths. So they need 1 more death, they need 1 person to...
But it's never really stated. It's a big guess.
It is a big guess. And then they say, there must be 4 gates. One looked like they were in front of Eddie's trailer. So they kind of deducted there's more 4, there's 4 gates. So they're going to need 4 phases, and they're going to need, a plan that entails 4 phases in order to get it executed. So they've now figured out that they're going to use Max kind of as bait, as she's supposed to be the 4th death, as she's been being stalked before. Look at the Dear Billy scene back from from volume 1. Yeah, she almost got it then, and then Kate Bush kind of pulled her out of that running up that hill, when that amazing epic scene, which is so good. And there are more like this, obviously. Back in Russia, let me tell you, it's getting more fucked up in Russia.
The Russian stuff's my favorite.
The Russian stuff's crazy. They find a secret lab, in
underneath the prison, sort of.
Yeah, underneath the Gulag prison, and it's got all kinds of demigorgons and demidogs and all kinds of things. But then they also find this gigantic secret portal. So then, they're all kind of figuring out what to do over there in Russia.
Yeah, they escape, and then they find out there's a portal there, so they got to break back in.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of tell me you hate Russia without telling me you hate Russia. It's just, I feel like they're kind of never going to get out at this point.
Highlight, Hulkamania shirts.
Oh my God, the Hulkamania shirts were amazing. When they were changing into the Hulkamania shirts, amazing. Oh, yeah, I just want to tear this off, brother. Seriously, but back at the secret base, Dr. Owens and Dr. Brenner decide they're going to revive 11. And she's in a comatose kind of state. She uses her powers to levitate what they call the Nina project, or Nina tank, and she gets it all the way off the ground, which, kind of it impresses them, but I think it scares Dr. Brenner a little bit. And he explains that... What are you doing?
I'm levitating this cauliflower mic.
You're levitating into your mouth. Brenner explains that when 11 threw Henry Creel to the upside down, she actually put herself into a coma because she was so young when she did it, and she blasted Henry Creel, she blasted that orderly through the wall into the upside down, into that other dimension. She blasted him so hard, she used so many of her powers that she erased her memory. And that's why she had no memory of it. And that's what Brenner was kind of saying. yeah, you block out your trauma. So they're trying to get her jacked up on that. I don't know if they were trying to get her to see more things and more memories and try to get her powers more powerful and get her jacked up, like I say. But now I think that she knows the truth. She decides that she needs to fight for her friends, because I think this whole time she's thinking that she's been this monster this whole time that's kind of screwed everything up for everybody.
Yeah.
When in fact she's been like the hero of the day the whole time, who's not screwed up anything for anyone. Smoky barbecue time.
But like, let's just face it. Like, that is like gaslighting 101, letting somebody believe they're the monster, manipulating every conversation and scenario to make them think that, so you can control them and feel like a savior to them as a result, even though they've done nothing wrong. And you've engineered all this trauma.
I remember
for
they
them.
were really saying, sometimes Papa lies, sometimes Papa lies. He was always saying that. So, sometimes Papa lies. I'm not going to lie. Now, at this point, Mike's kind of worried about him and Elle. Will is comforting him because they're not in like the same place at this point. She's still in the underground lab. Will and Mike and Jonathan and Argyle are in the Surfer Boy pizza van.
My dudes. And they're trying to get to her. And Mike has a really tearful, emotional moment with Will where he's talking about how he really misses Elle. And he really doesn't think he's like good enough for their relationship. And he feels like she's the superhero and he's just like the super piece of crud that she's going to leave by like the wayside one day. And he's just really down on himself. And you can tell, like, I mean, Will's sad too, because I mean, he's losing their friendship. I think Will's got a little bit of a crush on his best friend and sees that he's kind of unattainable and sees that he's in love with someone else. And it's kind of a really heartbreaking moment for all of them. And I mean, Will presents him with this beautiful painting that he'd been working on earlier. And oh, how sweet.
It was so sweet. It was like
Here's
such a nice best friend
painted
moment.
Of you in fantasy garb.
Yeah. But it was so sweet.
Look, it's you. You're leading.
Yeah, he is, because he's got the heart, right?
You're
and
the,
you say,
you're the lion heart.
You're the heart. And that actually becomes important later, that he's the heart. That he is the heart. That becomes important later in the show. And I'll tell you why later. But he's so genuine with his painting. And then the worst part about it is him sobbing out the window, like just absolutely losing his mind. And then like Jonathan kind of seeing all this stuff like from the background. Like Jonathan knows that he's hurting.
Just like, I need a joint, man.
No, but I think he's
Argyle,
he sees
dude.
He sees his brother hurting, and he sees that he's in love with his like
and
best
for the
friend.
first time in this season, we feel like Jonathan has a purpose. Because otherwise he's just like
stoned in the background like a cactus.
And the actor's probably thinking, what am I doing this season? And that is the first moment. It's like, oh, he identifies a conflict that he might be able to help be a part of.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this painting really identifies the caring and the intimacy of their friendship and how much they've done as their Hellfire Club and their Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and how much they mean to each other, and how much their little group is such a little unit. I think it signifies so much strength between them as friends, and I think it's so sweet.
To me, it tells me they don't have their heads screwed on straight. They're always in some sort of fantasy land, and they're projecting it into their reality now.
Oh, craziness.
To make their friendship actually matter more than it actually does.
Okay, let me tell you. Now, I can't even believe this. Now, here's a person who is not part of their Munchkin Club, of their Hellfire Club. The Munchkin Club. Well, because it started out as a Munchkin Club before Eddie was the head of it. Steve Harrington's never been a fan of D&D. He hasn't played that. He's always been trying to run after girls and things like that. And now when Steve dropped that Munchkin bomb about the Harrington family RV trips, his dream, 6 little nuggets. And then he got really googly-eyed. It calls into the question. He's talking about the future. Nancy's kind of getting a little bit googly-eyed, but kind of not. Mm-hmm. It calls into question. I'm like, is Steve going to die right now? I was just like, all right, Duffer Brothers. He is discussing his future. Bye, Steve. I'm going to see you later. Oh, fuck.
Because his future is so sweet. He wants to drive around in an RV with Rugrats in the back.
And I was thinking, you know what? That's a little bit too squeaky clean for old Stevie boy. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's, again, these moments where you start getting, these characters endear themselves to you. It's like, this guy's just down to earth. He isn't, this jock guy that you want to hate. We've seen other flavors of that in the show. He's actually finally grounded, and
He's actually finally got a heart because he got that thunk over the head, which we'll talk about later. But I mean, it's nice to see that, definitely. And to see Steve kind of come into his own in this season has been nice and not be a total lunkhead like all the time.
And not just a babysitter.
No, even though he'll maintain that he's always the babysitter. It's kind of hard to see both gay characters or the characters that identify as gay get crushed by their
and who
gay
are these
crushes.
Characters?
Robin and Will. I think that Robin definitely identifies as a lesbian. And I think that Will's in love with Mike. I do.
Well, that's an interesting theory.
It's not a theory.
It's theory.
It's the truth.
It's theory.
Okay. Well, it's 1986.
And?
Come on. It was more open and talked about.
What was?
Homosexuality.
And?
I'm just saying.
All I want to see then is Mike and Will do like some sort of Top Gun scene, like, you know, you can be my wingman anytime. No, you can be mine.
You can be mine. No, I want to see Robin and Molly Ringwald get together.
Like that scene from Predator with like Schwarzenegger. And they're like, come on.
That almost came out my nose. It almost came out my nose. Because come on, didn't Robin in the redneck store with her boyfriend like uncomfortably kissing him, making you even uncomfortable?
See, I told you he would like it.
Like Robin,
he had to like convince her that she would like
Robin's
a kiss.
Sitting there like,
and she's like,
yeah, Molly Ringwald's like, oh God, get off me. And poor Robin's just sitting there like so confused. The look on her face broke my heart. Because there goes her crush with some fucking guy. We'll get to that later. The redneck gun shop was something. It was like Rick Derringer playing like rock and roll hoochie coo just out the ass.
It's the dirt mall featuring the entire high school.
It is a dirt mall, and it is the entire high school because they're all buying like weapons and semi-automatic weapons and firearms and these things and that thing.
What I love is that everybody's wearing like their athletic Letterman jackets. I mean, they might as well be like the KKK at this point, like all dressed in uniform.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's not a commentary or anything.
They're all ready for battle. They're all ready for battle. They're all ready to go. Because you gotta fight this Hellfire Club that's killing everybody, don't you know?
This is the carrot one.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's quite sweet.
I'm gonna have to try it again because last time I didn't get a ton off of it. Maybe I went too light.
You did. Yeah. Now I'll say, as Nancy gets into the redneck gun shop, she runs into jackhole jock-ass Jason, who sees her buying a double-barrel shotgun and kind of tries to get intimidating with her. So we see her later, like, I'm talking like, la 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 la, sawed-off shotgun, hand on the pump, left hand on a Molotov, puffing on it, nothing.
It's like a spicy glass of orange juice.
I like it.
That'd be good in, like, a screwdriver.
That'd be great. It'd be great. Or a Caesar. Love it. Anyway, so Nancy's, got a sawed-off shotgun for herself under the advice of, I guess, kind of sort of jock-ass Jason. And they got to get back to the Upside Down. This is the other thing.
They all got to
get back to the Upside Down because, everybody's just chomping at the bit to go there. It's not horrifying at all. All these clocks.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
All these demi-bats.
Let me ask you this. If Max is the big fourth victim and Vecna can't do stuff unless he gets her, why wouldn't they just leave town?
Because Vecna would find him no matter where they are because he's in your mind, right?
Yeah, but all the portals and stuff are in Hawkins.
I don't know. I think he'd find some way to get in there. I think he'd find some way to get in there. I think it would. I think he would. I think he'd just find a way to creep in.
Well, he's taking his time, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He is. He is taking his time because season 5, where are you? Anyways, remember when Henry Creel said that Papa doesn't always tell the truth?
Yes. I remember this.
Well, he undermines Owens at the lab. This is before 11 gets out because she's not out yet. He undermines Owens at the lab.
Paul Reiser.
And Paul, I'm so mad about him, undermines him, really displaying that, like I say, his experiments were more important than people. They're just like, come on, let her go, let her go, let her go. No. He decides there's no redemption arc for this character. It's not going to happen, Matthew Modine. There's no redemption for you.
That was his... Well, they try to have a little redemption moment.
A little tiny bit, but then she was just like, I don't give a fuck.
Like, unlocks her collar, but it's too late.
Like, he's a monster. She realizes that he's been kind of like the monster this whole time. he needed her to open the gate, close the gate. He was using her this whole
It's
time.
a classic Frankenstein
Completely.
motif, right? It's like, is Frankenstein's monster the real, villain, or is it Dr. Frankenstein?
Exactly. And she's just like, I'm not the monster this time, Papa. You are. And I think he even had a bit of like an epiphany sort of moment. Like, yeah, I kind of am a monster. But I don't think it bothered him. I don't think that man has a soul. Monsters don't have souls.
Well, look at what he did to children. He was tattooing children. And it just went down. He tattooed children. He made them play Plinko. He basically locked them up in like a science version of that island in Pinocchio, where everybody can play cards and smoke cigarettes and cigars and play pool. That's what the lab at Hawkins
Crazy
is.
Pleasure Island with more mirrors. And
Come on down to the Rainbow Room. Play some Plinko.
And it was like Elvis Presley's Jungle Room. It's just supposed to be so much fun. It's crazy. I'll tell you, some of my favorite highlights of that episode were definitely Joyce's Starsky and Hutch. It was like her little her nod at her relationship with Murray. She's like, he's a Starsky to my Hutch, and it's okay that they made that reference because obviously they would have been watching that in the 70s a lot like that, and they're grown up more than the kids are in the 80s. So people are like, oh, that was a really 80s reference. I'm like, well, actually it was a 70s reference, and it would have been relevant at that time in 1986.
And what is she going to paint herself as, like one of the Duke boys from the Dukes of Hazzard? Like, seriously, like she's got to pick, some sort of dynamic duo with a strong
like
woman.
Somebody that's cool. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love that Rick Derringer aptly kind of accompanies the music to the gun store. I love all the kids stealing a fucking Winnebago with Eddie Munson with a fucking Michael Myers mask on.
I said this to you, like, why does he need the mask if they're all like running together?
All the kids
they all look suspicious. They're taking like
they look sus.
They're not taking their time. They're not sneaking around. They're not waiting for nightfall. It's broad daylight.
Oh yeah, it's totally broad daylight.
And their big like cover up is Eddie Munster.
We're running around with Michael Myers.
Wearing a Michael Myers mask.
He just should have brought a butcher knife.
Which he got from Mad Max.
Yeah, exactly. Mad Max. Maxine gave it to him. Maxine Mayfield was handing out the masks. He said, Max, you got a mask? Of course I do. She did. I love Eddie more and more with every episode. And
he's cool.
Him and Dustin are so cute. And seeing their relationship in that is adorable. I think Dustin saying, like when they're discussing, a high point for that episode for me, when they're discussing slaying Vecna's like physical body while someone's in the upside down trying to slay his upside down body while they're trying to find his physical body in the attic. Dustin saying that they were going to slay him like a sleeping Dracula. Just he comes up with the best shit, like Watergate, all those things,
all
battle.
These puns and like...
He is very punny. I think bench riding loser Lucas is starting to come to his senses. His sister calling him a bench riding loser. Like she always comes to his games, but she supports him even though he's a loser. I think he's realizing that maybe it's not so cool to be part of the cool kids club, and maybe they're not so cool. You
mean the group of like murderers or people that are like bent on buying guns to murder people?
And hurt people? It's like no.
Who is this D-bag? Like seriously.
America. I'm like, anyways, guns are free. Abortions are not, but guns are. And apparently they were just as free in 1986. Everybody got this right to bear arms. And like I say, there are responsible gun owners in America. I'm sure there are. But most of the stuff that I see, not in Hawkins. Not Hawkins at all. Doesn't look like any responsible.
Hawkinsville.
Doesn't look like any responsible gun ownership is going on there. Especially not with the ammo and everything like that. Now, Lucas and his concern for Max. His guts in this episode. He definitely had some brass balls in this episode. He had a lot of concern for Max. It was nice to kind of see that coming back and see their friendship kind of like their love kind of reblossom.
Well, he's kind of off the team, so he's got to do something else now.
Well, you know what? And I'm glad that hobby went back to his friend Max and they found their friendship again. You know? Dr. Brenner, eventually tries to tranquilize poor Elle, but then ends up getting kind of fucked up himself by her powers. And they're both kind of in like a woozy state. We get Robin kind of in the middle of things, kind of talking while they're making things for this, monster apocalypse, going, to Steve. I don't know. It might not work out for us this time, Steve. They kind of have a Molotov cocktail, like clink, by the
those scenes are
Winnebago.
so stock. I don't know if we can do it this time. It's like out of everybody like in this whole thing, like you have kids that escape from FBI agents.
Yep.
In California.
They're fantastic.
Go to Utah to descramble a code and get coordinates to a hidden base in the middle of a desert. And you're wondering if you can do this part? Like, it doesn't quite make sense. Like, the things that, like, have been happening.
Vecna is different, though. I know, but there's self-doubt, and there's teenagers, too. You know what I mean? So they have that self-doubt in there.
I get it.
Papa,
It's a necessary writing scene.
Papa gets shot to death.
Papa!
Finally. Papa gets shot to death.
Papa gets popped!
He does. He gets popped by the Green Berets in, like, a helicopter scene. We're in the middle of the desert. It's almost like a rescue scene. And then they're the target's set on 11, and they want to shoot her. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's the pizza van. It's Surfer Boy Pizza.
I was going to say, they should have had, like, the ventures cranked as they, like, arrived on the scene.
Or anything where, like, the surfer jets or, like, Dick Dale or something fun, like, really fun surf music.
Should have had the Oniders.
That'd have been awesome.
The Oneders.
The Oneders. The Wonders.
As in the Wonders? Like,
That
I
thing you
wonder
do.
what happened to the Oneders.
I wonder what happened to them too. It's probably because they're called the Wonders, and they're on That Thing You Do. But awesome. It gets amazing because, like I say, Matthew Modine gets shot to death. He kind of has like a touching moment with like 11 where he unlocks her power collar. Oh, I'm just putting this on for precaution. Don't worry, I won't use it. I won't shock you like I did your mother.
Lies.
Yes, I will.
Papa lies sometimes.
Papa lies all the time.
Papa's a liar!
So, I mean, burn, baby, burn. It's great. Elle kind of has a tender moment with him. He tries to kind of pull the wool over her eyes. She doesn't feel bad for him. All the helicopter comes down in a blaze of motherfucking glory. All those army trucks are burned.
What I love is, like, through the scope sight.
Yes.
The sniper's like, where'd she go? Where'd she go? And then all of a sudden, it drifts and, like, she's in frame. And all you see is her do, like...
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for it. It's like the build up to the satisfaction of it, like crumpling like a tin can.
Just go down faster than, the price of meat has just gone up and. Your mom has just gone down.
Faster than this chicken wing will disappear.
Your mom jokes on 21st Century Rocker Mom podcast. Mike and 11 are reunited and it feels so good. Even Will is crying and they're all crying.
Even Will? That's all that guy does.
It's so sweet though. He's just so emotional about everything. I love him.
He's like the OG emo.
No one gave a fuck about Papa's dying breath. They were just glad that he got blew away in a blaze of glory in the desert. And what can I say? The van's off. Army dudes remaining are pissed. They're just like, where are they going? Follow that bird. We need to get them. The kids need to get to Hawkins or they're apparently going to die, according to Elle, and all their friends are going to die. So they need to get to Hawkins. So it's very tense trying to get back to Hawkins. They can't get any flights back to Hawkins. They're trying every way they can to get back to Hawkins. And things are tense in Hawkins, to say the least, preparing for this visit to the Creel house and this encounter with Vecna as they're trying to plan their plan. But the boys are really trying to get Elle back into Hawkins, but there's no viable way they can fly her there, and the kids will be dead by morning. So she looks at this sign, and it gives her flashbacks of her mother, and she realizes.
Saw the sign.
And it opened up her eyes. She saw the sign, and then she realized she'd get into Max's mind while she was in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
From where she was. This becomes a realization somewhere else. What sauce is this today? Oh, it's a Scoville City Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper. I certainly don't.
I think we did this one last time, but I can't remember.
I never fear the Reaper. It's delicious.
Speaking of Blue Oyster Cult, did you know they opened up a Kiss museum?
Oh my God. I want to go. Where is it? Is it in Detroit?
It's in Vegas.
Aw.
At the Rio. Next to the Kiss mini golf.
Of course it
and
is.
The connection is, when Kiss first started, they opened for Blue Oyster Cult. A year to the day, Blue Oyster Cult opened for them.
Amazing. Amazing.
The rock and roll history for you on 21st Century Rocker Mom.
Yeah, a little Kiss-tory. Because, Kiss was on the soundtrack of Stranger Things 4. Obviously.
What song was it? Was it Detroit Rock City?
It was Detroit Rock City.
Okay. Just checking.
I only know bass. Bow, 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 bass. Bow, bow, bass. Bow, 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 bass.
Guitar plays the same thing, don't worry. Dun, 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 dun.
I know, and it's like they follow each other. Ridiculous. Anyway, so Elle figures out she needs to get into Max's mind. But how are they going to do this?
Find out later.
We're going to find out later in episode 9. But all I can say is...
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been a great episode.
But it's not over yet.
Either is Stranger Things Season 4.
Here we stand, worlds apart, broken in two. And we're going to go back into episode 9. Obviously, the finale of the episode, this epic finale, they're calling this Piggyback. What are we going to do? Piggyback into other people's minds. Because 11 has said she could get into Max's mind. How is she going to do that? Well, she's going to need a sensory deprivation tank. How are they going to do that? Now, this episode opens with Yuri still fucking with Katinka, the helicopter he's promising to fly the Americans back to America with. But, oh, Katinka needs this, Katinka needs that. When you play with a woman, Yuri likes to do this with a woman. Fuck. If you just put the spark plug inside of Katinka, just replace that one little spark plug, Yuri, Katinka would work and she'd be off the ground. But Yuri's fucking around and he's being a noisy fucker, like trying to attack the KGB, like trying to, like,
he's trying to attract them. He's
trying to force an attack by the KGB, like to hand these people over back to the KGB. Meanwhile, Joyce and Hopper are waiting inside for a phone call. And because they got this like red phone, they're supposed to have someone call it. When will it be? Who knows? So they're getting ready. They're getting their respective outfits, their Hulkamania clothes on. And, you know, they've missed each other for a while. And they're about to, you know, kind of get jiggy with it. But then all of a sudden, it's all right because they're saved by the bell. And it's a colleague of Dr. Owen's. But he can't talk right now because he's indisposed. And what does that mean? This woman doesn't know anything. She's just in front of the doc. She just explained that they can't go back right now. And 11 is that kind of spearheading an operation to save Hawkins. And that Hawkins is kind of just going down and there's nothing they can do about it.
And this is the first time that Joyce realizes that something might not be okay back at home in California, where nobody's been since about 10 minutes after they left.
So she has no idea where her kids are. Do you know where your kids are, Joyce? Do you know where your kids are, Joyce Byers? Apparently
Joyce,
not.
Hot tip. The streetlights are on. Your kids aren't home.
Fuck. Oh my God. I'm telling you.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Now, back in Hawkins, Nancy and Co. hatch their plan. They go back to Eddie's trailer and they decide we're going to head back into the Upside Down to go to the Creel house as Max and Lucas and Erica hatch their plan, like, to go to the Creel house. So, like, they're going to go in the Upside Down Creel house through the Upside Down. And the crew that's still in regular Hawkins is going to the Creel spooky house. Max has got her Kate Bush with her. Lucas has got his sister with him. They got some pads of paper they want to write. So I think that might have been the funnest scene in this episode. All of them falling down on the mattress, like going into the Upside Down, like after they got all their, like, their battle stuff ready. Like they've made all their, like, their garbage can, like, nail shields and, like, everything that you make, like, in Dungeons and Dragons to be, like, a real live, like, fighter to get, like, your dude to his next square. I don't know what you do in Dungeons and Dragons. I've never fucking played it. I've played the video game. Now, on the way back to Hawkins, because eventually Mike and Elle are going to have to go there. Before they can go back to Hawkins, they got to find Elle some way she can get into Max's mind. How are they going to get there? Because she can't get to Hawkins yet. She got to get into Max's mind in Hawkins.
She needs a bathtub. Where can they go?
They pass a hotel, you know, a few back. They can't go to a hotel, but where are they going to get a whole bunch of salt? All of a sudden, Argyle comes out of nowhere with, "Hey, my dudes, I have the perfect place." Where do they go? They go to a pizza joint. They go to a surfer boy pizza restaurant, just one in their town. They all
Nevada
know.
or whatever, yeah.
They all know each other by. Hello,
And
my
they
dude.
set that up the previous episode. Like, oh, it's in Nevada now, man.
Exactly. Hey, my dude. Hey, my dude. Hey, man, we need to use your kitchen facility, my dude. I'm going to open... dude, the kitchen just closed like 10 minutes ago, my dude, so there's no more pizza. We're not here for your righteous pie, dude. So they basically bragged this kid with a joint, like one joint of... What do they call it? This weed?
Like Palm Tree Paradise or
Palm
something.
Tree Paradise, Purple Passion, Purple People Eater. I don't know. I still thought, like, in the 80s, people were calling pot, like, just, like, pot. It wasn't, like, all the names now. Like, but anyways.
Oh, what, you got a problem with Stranger Things?
No, I don't have a
Fine,
problem
you hate
with
the
it.
show, I get it.
I just thought it was
Now
funny
you hate the show.
to see these pot
No, it's all or
references.
nothing.
No, it's
This
not.
is going on the interweb. It's all or nothing on the interweb.
Oh, my
Make
gosh.
stance.
Anyways, my dude. It's sensory deprivation time. So they empty this freezer and they take out all the pizza dough. Meanwhile, like, while the kids are filling up the freezer for Elle, and then pouring like 600 pounds of salt in this tank to give her the same feeling as she would like with the floating.
Weightlessness, yeah.
And yeah, in the tanks that she would with the doctors.
Come float with me.
Goddamn, Argyle's just making a pizza pie. He's
It's
making a
just
pizza pie. Actually, you know what?
slaughtering
Speaking
a
of
pie.
pizza pie, we have a pizza pie here. I want to try some of this Scoville hot honey on the
Okay,
pizza.
let's do it.
Because our friend has a
This
pizza
is,
joint, and he has a
we
lot
should
of...
we should call this episode Tasty Things.
Oh, nah. I think
Like
our friend Mike has a pizza joint where he uses hot honey on his
Noble
pizza.
Pie.
Yeah. And Noble Pie uses this hot honey. It's actually called Mike's Hot Honey. Well, this is the Scoville. Sweet and spicy.
I can't quite reach it, and I don't want to knock you over to get it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What was my idea to let's put it on some pie, man.
Hot
My
honey.
dude, we need hot honey on the pie.
On a vegan Sicilian pizza? That's bomb. Drizzle it.
Oh yeah. Bow, 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 doo, 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 doo.
Look, we're making the bees jealous.
Bow, bow. Bow. Bow, bow, doo, 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 doo,
You're still honeying it up?
doo, doo, doo. You ever seen The Secret of My Success?
Bow,
Michael
bow.
J. Fox? That scene where they're all sneaking around at nighttime, going into each other's bedrooms.
Yes?
Bow, bow, bow.
Okay, honey. And that's what happens on pizza. What do you think of that? That's some righteous ass honey.
It's a pretty good meatball.
It's a pretty good meatball. No. Back at Creel Manor. After we had this pizza dude pizza. While Elle's in the sensory deprivation tank, you gotta go into Creel Manor. Max, Lucas, and Erica are all there. And I'll tell you, it's pretty spooky. I wouldn't want to go in there. And Erica finds Vecna and passes Lucas like a note, like, I found Vecna, she sees in the light. But just as like she finds Vecna, and they're getting ready for like phase 2 because she's got to head to the park and like tip off the kids for the next phase. Some psycho dog walker sees that they're flashing flashlights in the Creel creepy house, which no one's in because it's abandoned, and tips off Jason and his fucking Argonauts of assholery. And of course he wants to go down there and, you know, get revenge for Chrissy. And who knows, you know, those crazy freaks playing
I'll
Dungeons
never
and
have a
Dragons.
good night's sleep until he murders somebody.
I know, he's just jackass jock Jason.
But when he gets that first kill, he's gonna sleep like a baby.
He's gonna sleep like a baby, all right, when he's bisected. Anyways, in Russia, it's time to go back
In Russia
to prison.
with love.
Because you know what? With this phone call, Joyce and Jim Hopper have like deducted that their kids are in danger and they're all together. They've got to find a way to get inside the hive mind too. With the portal and everything being the way that it is, and the particulate matter floating around the sky that's in the prison, as well as the demigorgons, as they get to the prison, back to the Russian gulag, and they can have some control over that. Maybe they can help save the kids while they're in there.
Maybe. Or at least weaken the beast so that if the kids strike during this weakened state, they'll tip the advantages toward them.
Now
or whatever they theorize.
They get back into the Upside Down, and they kind of go their separate ways once they get back into the Upside Down. Eddie and Dustin go one way. They want to fight the demi-bats, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Because they said, we're not heroes. And Steve and Robin and Nancy go to Creel house.
Why do they have to fight the bats, though?
Because they're a distraction. They have to, because the demi-bats are always there in the Upside Down, so they had to distract them. So Eddie's like, okay, I'm going to distract them. So, Eddie finds the demonic version of his axe in the Upside Down. And what does he do?
Goes on the roof of his trailer and starts rocking out in the most heavy metal concert scenario ever.
Is the most metal fucking thing I have seen to date on Netflix. I've seen a lot of metal shit.
And so he starts rocking out to Master of Puppets, which I found out Rob Trujillo, who's the bass player to Metallica. His son did the guitar tracks that they overlay over top of the Puppet song.
Oh, kick ass.
Yeah, and the actor who plays Eddie had been practicing for years. Like, he'd played guitar off and on for the last 20 years, but wouldn't consider himself like a shredder. So he practiced hardcore on that.
Oh, he shredded like shit on that. He shredded like crazy. He was amazing. That was like one of my favorite scenes.
And I gotta tell you,
of that. It was so like majestic.
I gotta tell you, it's the only time in my life I think that I dare say, wow, Metallica might be cool to a lot of people. Because liking Metallica has never been cool in my eyes. Before they put the Black Album out, and even with the Black Album, it was never something you would say to impress people, I love Metallica.
You'd be like, maybe I like metal bands.
Maybe like your dude friends or something like that, but you never ask a girl if she liked Metallica.
No.
Because it'd be like, no. And then when they cut their hair and all that stuff, it was not cool to like Metallica at all.
No, it wasn't. Even though they were still good.
2022, it might be cool to like Metallica, at least Master of Puppets.
TikTok says it's cool to like Metallica. I'll tell you that much.
The Royal Army of Oz has spoken.
I'll tell you. Well, Eddie has his Wayne's World moment. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. It's amazing. Steve and Nancy share a tender little moment in the Upside Down before they're kind of like interrupted by Robin. Steve kind of tells Nancy that she gave him the, the clunk on the head that he needed. And maybe if they met now, things would be different. But they didn't. Dimitri, Enzo, whatever the fuck his name is, bent prison guard, calls Yuri out on his bullshit. He calls him out on his manhood. He calls him out on Katinka. He's like, fix this fucking helicopter, you stupid fuck. Like, I used to hear you were a great guy, but you traded it all for vodka.
Yeah, and you fought like in women. Some sort of war with the Chinese, and you did everything, and now not so
Where's
much.
This Yuri? Who is this guy? Where are you?
Show your former self, booze and cards.
Henry has...
Booze and cards and booze and cards and booze and cards.
Henry has inevitably become what we thought he was going to become. He's become, in his words, the predator he was always born to be. As little Henry kind of stretches himself into this person from a child into this huge monster. He's been sketching out pictures of the Mind Flayer, almost like those pictures that Will was sketching of the Mind Flayer. And you know how they went together
big,
all over
spider-like
that
shadow creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So now, much like Will, he made these drawings, but he was more powerful than Will because he had this evilness behind him, and he needed 11 to open that door, and he used her. He preyed on 11's powers big time to open that door for him, and it had to set him free. Something had to set him free, and he was kind of hoping, I think, that she would be alongside of him, but that didn't really happen so much. He says, your friends have lost. Lucas is getting beat up by Jackhole Jason at this point, like in the attic after they found Vecna. Jason just comes up there and just starts like pistol whipping him. He's got a gun. Like, so many things are happening at the same time at this point. This was like the clusterfuck of like events at this point. When there was like the montage of like all the things happening? Yes. This is the spoiler alert. So at this point, your friends have lost, Vecna says. And like I say, it's a battle royale. Eddie's swarmed by the demi-bats. Like, I'm talking, he's absolutely swarmed. Like, he's kicking ass for a while, but it doesn't completely end that way. Eddie ends up very tearfully, unfortunately, passing away in Dustin's arms. And it was after that whole, like, Dustin Henderson never changed. He kind of, like, passed on, like, the bro torch.
That's what you get for, like, a Metallica.
And he was such...
Bro-talica.
But he was just, like, such a sweet guy.
It was an awesome... He's my favorite character in the season, easily.
He was... Oh, my God.
So cool.
He was so cool, and he was such a refreshing face.
Where's the action figure?
Exactly. Where is the action figure? I want an Eddie Munson action figure. Like, with the guitar. And
of course. Yeah,
business,
the Hellfire shirt.
The Hellfire shirt and that.
And the shield and the spear.
Like, all that stuff. and maybe a demi-bat. But seeing him pass away in Dustin's arms and like having Dustin and seeing that the relationship between them, they're almost like brothers because Dustin didn't have an older brother. And this guy really passed the torch on to him. And this is someone that the town kind of shit on all the time. But
it's the first person that Dustin can look up to.
Exactly.
That's like a male role model
for him because he's always living with his
mom. Because he always kind of didn't really take it well from Steve. Like they were kind of more on even terms. There was nothing to aspire to with Steve.
Yeah, Steve, he was already more mature than Steve in season 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens. No, but like at this time, Max is being murdered and like twisted up by Vecna, like up in the sky. She's levitating and Lucas is watching at this point because what else can he do? He's helpless. Finally, she falls to the ground. He's holding her in her arms. She's like slipping away. Mike tries to revive Elle with love because she's stuck in the upside down still. So he's telling her whatever he can to kind of to pull her out of her death, because at this point Vecna's breathing down her throat in the upside down, telling her he's going to kill her. He wanted her to join him, but now he just kind of wants her to just watch his destruction and all the horrible things he's doing. But Mike, like he's the heart, he's telling her, I love you for exactly who you are. Now, how often do people get that? I love you for exactly who you are. That was nice to hear. You know what I mean?
It's pretty rare.
And I want you to fight. Like, fight. It's time to fight, Elle. And so she did. So Joyce fucks up some demi-dogs right on Hopper's tail. But there's more demi-gorgons goddamn incoming. They're coming. They're coming.
They just don't stop.
They're coming. They're coming for you. They're coming. And then all of a sudden Murray appears with a fucking flamethrower. And then yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers! All those demi-gorgons are gone.
I love that Hopper gets like a sword that's like right out of Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, I know. And like, but one's not dead. So of course, yeah, Hopper like grabs the power sword or something like that and decides it's just, I don't know. Things are not good. Vecna's looking like he's beginning to unravel like a little bit by this point with all these other things being destroyed. Phase 4, Hopper versus Demogorgon. Like I say, it just won't die, but it's got a sword. He takes this thing apart limb by fucking limb. It's awesome. I've never seen anything get chopped up and butchered quite like this Demogorgon, but it did. Phase 4 was awesome. Elle has now got Vecna with his back up against the wall. Like he's had everyone with their back up against the wall most of the season while he's murdering them and putting his powers all over them and whatever. The kids find his physical body in the attic.
Right. And they start going to town. Exactly.
But at this point, Jackass Jason, while he was fucking with Lucas, broke Max's Walkman.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to pull her out of the upside down. So she's really getting pretzeled up. Whew. This is the beginning of the end, folks, okay? Seriously, this is the beginning of the end. Robin lights a Molotov. Steve hurls it towards Vecna and, like, seriously, hits him in the face with a Kate Bush fucking clusterfuck. He's just running up that hill everywhere every time he gets hit in the face. Robin delivers a final blow, and then Nancy, with her sawed-off, wastes no time to waste this motherfucker. Just keeps shooting Vecna until this pile of shit goes out into the window and falls into what looks like a fault line crack in the earth. He seems to, like, burn a hole in the ground as he falls into the earth.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I love that it's like the prophecy becoming true, whether they want it to or not.
Exactly.
They think they're succeeding, and actually what's happening is they're actually making the prophecy come to fruition.
Exactly. Which was, who knows if it was going to happen anyway. They say, well, there was a 7.4 magnitude earthquake.
They hide it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they cover it up.
They really cover it up. Mainstream media has a way of doing that. Now, all these demogorgons, everything's dead. The gulag's ready to go. Yuri appears with Enzo out of nowhere in Katinka. They are saved. They're getting ready to fly back to Hawkins. All the kids are back to Hawkins, but tick-tock, time for more fuckery. Oh my God. And the place comes in half like a fucking hot knife through butter. All of a sudden, Hawkins gets split into 4 parts. Almost like 4 gates, almost like 4 portals. Almost like foreshadowing for season 5.
You have to conquer each level like a video game.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. Now, the boys are trying to wake Elle, as she sits with Lucas and Max kind of in the upside down. They're trying to get her away because she goes back into the upside down to see where Max kind of is, because things are not looking so good for Maxine Mayfield. And this is what got me ugly crying and not being able to like actually record this episode for a couple days.
You took a moment this morning to compose yourself.
I had to soak my face in cold water in the bath to make the redness and swelling go down.
These aren't just TV shows. These are calling cards to who we are inside, folks.
Ugly crying little bitch. Ugly crying little bitch. But I'm trying to say,
UCB.
we get 2 days later after all this massacre is happening, after everybody's gone into Hawkins and, you know, everybody's returned to Hawkins and seen the carnage of what's gone on. 2 days later, everyone's kind of leaving Hawkins. You see everyone leaving Hawkins, and then you see everybody in the Surfer Boy pizza delivery van kind of driving up, kind of rubbernecking all over the place. Because apparently Hawkins was hit with a 7.4 magnitude earthquake, you know what I mean, 2 days ago, and now we're having this disaster. All the killings in town, we're going to still blame on Eddie Munson, the group and the cult leader of the cult.
Yeah.
The Hellfire Club. And so the kids still get pegged with the murders. That really pissed me off. What do you got, Diavolo?
Yeah.
That almost sounds like Diablo. That's like another game. Maybe they could get in trouble for playing
Is
that.
that like a Hellfire sauce?
It is like a Hellfire sauce. It looks
one.
amazing. It's fantastic. I really like it.
Hey, you gonna have some?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, you do that.
It is really nice, the Diavolo, because it's got some different chilies in it. It's got some arbol chilies in it and some lime, and it really comes through, and it's really, really bright.
It's coming through. Oh yeah, she's coming through.
I like it. It's super bright.
Yeah. It's coming through.
It's got a big bite. It's got a big bite. Oh, don't worry. I think Big Bertha till the end.
I know, don't worry. I don't want to be a bad guest and do it wrong or out of order or not follow your 10 commandments of co-hosting.
No, there's 10 commandments of vegan wings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta know about this. Now, the whole army is in Hawkins, like trying to do relief and clean up and kind of investigate what happened. I mean, the whole army kind of knows what happened.
Yes.
So they got Captain Cleanup Club. All the kids are returned safely back to Hawkins, the ones that can be. Maxine's in the hospital. Jonathan and Nancy make kind of an emotional reconnection while they're fixing up Hopper's cabin, because they got to find a way now to hide Elle, because of course Elle is like the hottest commodity out there. She's the super girl with the superpower, so we got to hide her. And Hopper's cabin, let's just say, has been eaten by like raccoons and squirrels and all kinds of trash pandas and possums and all kinds of little animals. And so they're, you know, doing the spring cleaning. Nancy finds the cleaning supplies and they decide to clean it out. And Nancy and Jonathan share a moment by the window while they're trying to board up the windows. But I gotta ask you this sincerely. Like, Jonathan's not really been around this season. I thought he was gonna die because he was kind of like in the background. I also thought Steve was gonna die because Steve discussed his future plans. And I'm just going with how you talk to me about how movies are written and character arcs and things like that. I listen when you talk, sometimes.
Go on.
Sometimes.
Go on.
So I thought he was gonna like die and everything like that. But I gotta ask you, truly and honestly, and I asked this on my Instagram, and I know the answer from there, but your answer to me is important. Are you team Steve, like in Nancy, or are you team Jonathan? Because even when she's asking, like, I know how like Steve can be such an underachiever. Jonathan, she asked him, have those college applications come? Immediately he says no.
Now, are you asking me Team Steve or Team Jonathan if I was Nancy or as me?
As you. What do you like best? Who would you rather Nancy end up with?
Okay, so you're asking me who I want Nancy to end up with. Okay, she won't settle for Steve's dream. She doesn't want that.
No, I know she doesn't.
So it doesn't matter how endearing that might be. It's not endearing
to her.
And she would rather take somebody that's a little more complacent like Jonathan so she can do her own thing because she's a driven young lady.
Yeah, and because Jonathan's just going to sit on his ass and smoke weed all day.
Well, he was kind of whisked away with all the family thing above and beyond. Like, you can't just go AWOL on your girlfriend and not make an effort.
Go to California and do nothing.
I don't condone that, but he's obviously caught up in something bigger than him.
See, I was Team Steve because I feel like he got such a smash over the head. Now he's like got his shit together.
Does he?
I think he does.
We'll
He's got
find
chest
out when he
hair.
works at the bakery in Hawkins next season.
Like, what Joe job will you be working at? What retail job will you be working at next, Steve?
As far as characters, I like Steve better.
You like Steve better?
Yeah.
I do too.
Because Jonathan was like the OG, like Eddie Munson. He was kind of an outcast kind of kid, and
big time.
But he didn't arc and reveal to be as cool as Eddie did.
And no one was as cool as my dear sweet Billy. Speaking of Maxine being in the hospital, poor thing, Max. Now, with Max being in the hospital and Lucas being, comforting her by her bedside, he was sitting there reading her something really interesting. He was reading her the talisman when the rest of the gang came in to kind of see her, including Eleven, who got inside her mind, which basically looked like a puddle, which means I don't know if there's anything in there. She's in a coma. Her mind is gone. Or she's now become part of Vecna and she's part of the hive mind.
Vecna's got her soul, which is why the prophecy came true, but her body is still able to sustain life.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens in season 5. We'll see. I'm really reunited. I'm reunited. I'm lit up for people that were reunited at the community center, which was basically the school, the Hawkins High School, turned into the community center with relief efforts. Seeing Robin and her Molly Ringwald-like crush become reunited over peanut butter and jelly sandwiches warmed my little heart, and listening to her bitch about her now ex-boyfriend was actually hilarious. And how they were so awkward around each other, and they just once I start talking, I can't really stop. I know what you mean. I
felt the ending dragged on because they're tying up all the loose threads.
They had to.
And I see why they did it. They're all good moments, but it's just okay, these people are coming together. These people are coming together. These people are coming together.
Dustin's talk with Eddie's uncle after he's nailing up.
That's the one, right?
The posters. That's the one that actually annihilated my ass. I was done. He sat there and told Eddie's uncle the whole truth. Eddie had no idea. Eddie's uncle had no idea who he was.
No.
Who Dustin was. He didn't know him from Adam. And he just kind of let him know what he kind of already knew, that his nephew was a hero. He died a hero in a town that absolutely hated him, outcast him, pushed him
he
to the brink of leaving. For them. Yep. And that shows a really good person. I think that's why I liked Eddie's character so much.
Yeah, selfless.
Absolutely. You gotta see that from the beginning, and I think I picked
I don't know that I pick up on his own personal issue with running away from stuff, because I never really considered him a coward.
I saw when he lived with his uncle, I'm he's running away from something. There's got to be parent issues or something.
But I wouldn't peg that as his weakness or anything like that. So
I don't know.
But selfless for sure.
Mm-hmm. The Hopper cabin cleanup goes well. Will confirms Mike's worst nightmare when he feels Vecna on the back of his neck, and revealing that Vecna wants to take everything and steal everything in his path. Yeah. Everything until it's gone. 11 is in Max's head. Like I say, it's literally a puddle. Daddy is finally home. Hopper is home to the cabin. And obviously Joyce is home too. You get a very tearful, lovely family reunion. Hopper and 11 have the same haircut. They kind of make fun of each other about that a little bit. He stole my haircut, kid.
Every time somebody sees Hopper again, it's always about his weight, though.
I know. She's like, you got bigger. He says to Mike, you got bigger. And Mike says, you got smaller. Well, he was in a Russian gulag prison.
Yeah.
Things happen. You starve. Mostly.
Yeah, moldy bread.
Oh, Will Byers. The sky is falling as Hawkins watches. All of Hawkins watches, because you see it pans to different shots of different crowds. All of Hawkins watches the particulate matter fall like snow from the sky. And you watch the flowers kind of die, and you see areas that are more dead than others, and that fire in the sky, and that familiar thunder, and all those color crashes. And it's fucking bring me season 5 right now. Well, you
know what it is.
What?
Almost to a T. It's the end of Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
Where it's there's a small victory where you think the hero should be happy because they got through it all, and they're all reunited.
But look what
and
you
there's
gotta
success
do now.
there. But the greater evil has triumphed more than you succeeded. So it's a win for both sides, but more so for Vecna.
For the bad side.
And so it ends on a down, sour note. And,
it does.
And so when it comes back, we'll have a bunch of Ewoks.
I hope so. The amount of people that like I talk to about ugly crying about this and like still crying about this and like actually being triggered by this, holy smokes, it made them like really sad. So, you know, this season was amazing. And before I drop my socials and we do the ghost sauce together because it's very hot, the ghost pepper sauce. Like I say, I could drink this.
Let's see you drink it. I want to see you drink it.
I'm not going to drink it.
Why?
I say I could and say I would.
Well, you've drank this much already. Let's see you drink it.
I've had lots, okay? Let me just drop my socials before I drop my
Isn't
my
it more
pants.
fun to do it, drop your socials while you're doing this?
No, it's not.
Come on.
No, I'm not.
Stink.
You stink. You know where you can find me every week. You know you can find me on Instagram at 21st Century Rocker Mom. You can find me on Twitter at Tanny Candler. You can find me on YouTube. Just click subscribe to the YouTube channel on Tanny Candler channel. You can find me streaming anywhere. You can stream anything at all. And you can find me ticking and talking TikTok, the Vecna clock on TikTok at 21st Century Rocker Mom. Rob, where can they find you on the World Wide Web?
Oh, I'm out there. Just look for Rob McCallum, film guy.
Don't look for the wrong one.
Rob McCallum, my dude.
My dude. My dude.
I'm on Twitter at Rob McZob. There.
Yeah, man.
That's your freebie. Okay, let's see you do it up. This is what everybody's tuned in for.
But
or they've jog shuttled to the end.
You actually like gotta wear tie-dye when you do this.
Is that one of your rules?
This is one of my rules. This is the Scoville City Ghost Busted sauce. So it's got organic blueberries, organic raspberries, ghost peppers, water, vinegar, cinnamon, pink Himalayan sea salt.
How many fires are on the front of this one?
It's so hot that they didn't put any fires on it.
They have like fire ratings on some of these. So this is mine. You do your own.
Okay.
Because
this one actually looks like a little chicken.
It does. It does. I've selected this wing in particular for a reason.
Cheers.
Well, you didn't even wait for me. What's up with that? How come you didn't wait? How you feeling?
Fine.
You want a drink?
Sure.
You got your sign. You got your sign-offs?
Until next week.
You're hardcore.
I will see you all next week. My eyes are watering a bit.
You're hardcore.
I am hardcore.
Are you gonna blow anybody a kiss?
It's gonna be fire.
Your face is turning red.
I know. I dumped it in my mouth. I will see all y'all next week. I got ghost busted. I got stung by the honey. Everything's going on in Scoville City right now. We're burning down the house. I will see you next week for another episode of 21st Century Rocker Mom Podcast. Keep it tuned right here for all the hottest.
You want to keep talking?
No.
Come on. Let's drag this out to see what really happens, folks. Oh, I can see the sweat forming on your brow. From your noble brow.
I need to have some hot honey on pizza to make it go away.